Beyond the Numbers episode of Tet Talks with Tetrad IT. The first number I'd like to mention is the number 2, because today I have the privilege of having 2 guests from Sage. Erika, the Sales Director for Sage Intacct, Africa and Middle East, and Gerhard Hartman, the Vice President of Medium Business for Sage Africa and the Middle East. Well, welcome, Erika and Gerhard. It's a pleasure to have you.
Great being here. Thank you.
So as Tetrad IT, we have an extremely good relationship with Sage. In fact, Sage awarded us as the Sage African and Middle East Medium Segment Cloud Partner of the Year for the financial year 2020. So I'm really excited to be conducting an interview so close to home, so to speak. So just as the basis, over the years, Sage has established itself as a well-known brand, offering world-class accounting and payroll solutions. How did they manage to establish themselves? And do you have any advice for startups trying to make a name for themselves?
Yes, thank you very much, Lucinda, and it's very nice to be on the talk show today. And as you said, well done to Tetrad for winning that award in 2020. But Sage is a brand. Who are we? What do we do? So we support millions of customers worldwide to deliver the best cloud technology and support to them. So how do we do that? And if we bring it back to the South African context, as you've mentioned, Tetrad being one of our certified partners. So we, as Sage, are developing the software to make sure it is then resold by our partners, and our partners then service our customers and building that service relationship with them. And Tetrad being one of our partners there. I think what's also important is what makes us successful. You said, but how did we start? What was the journey? And very importantly, great software solutions. That's a lifetime solution for a customer. So we don't believe as just selling for the first time. We believe when we sell to service that customer for a long time. Our knowledge when it comes to accounting, finance, payroll and HR solutions is very well known in the South African market. And we communicate that knowledge through our partners. And our partners, as I said, are certified as well, Tetrad being one of them. We also think what's important is when you make a buying decision to invest or transition into software solutions, you need to ask yourself, where do I start? And as Sage, we recognize that with our partners to say, let's make sure you purchase the right software to future-proof your business going forward. So what's some Sage advice there? What I can offer is I can say, first of all, maintaining business performance is never straightforward. So if you do go on a digital journey, make sure to go through a very broad and detailed selection, deep diving of which vendors and partners you would like to partner with for life. Also, we know the past 12 months was very challenging with COVID. And there again, what's my business opportunity? What do I want to solve? And how do I balance my cash flow and my costs at the end of the day? Because normally that's for any type of business controls they want to put in place. And then also, as I said earlier on, business is not constant. It changes every day. To make sure that when you make that investment, you can amend it, you can change your direction to say, I need more real-time visibility. Can the software solutions handle that? And I'm proud to say, yes, the Sage software can handle business requirements. So that insight you want, make sure you understand what's the vision for today, but also the vision into the future. And then lastly, a trusted partner to execute on your project. Select them, build a long-term relationship, because again, internally, when you make that purchase, you want the 2 teams to work in a partnership. The customer, as well as the business partner, servicing, making sure we move the business forward.
Thank you so much. That's excellent advice. And it sounds like Partnerships are incredibly important, as you've mentioned, as well as adaptability and keeping a balance. And I know that one of the things that would need to be balanced is how to decide whether to keep up with various innovations, deciding what to adopt and what to let pass. Now, native cloud is a buzzword these days, and this refers to products that have been specifically designed for and deployed in the cloud, as opposed to hosted cloud solutions, which take traditionally on-premise solutions and deploy them onto cloud-based servers. So what benefit would you say there is to opting for a true native cloud solution?
I'd say, look, if we look at the pandemic and how it's influenced the way we engage with each other, it has such an enormous effect on our everyday life. It forced companies to adopt a cloud mindset, meaning they would need to ensure that their customers and also their employees have access to all data at all times. So when we say cloud native specifically, I think the best way to describe it is by using the analogy of internet banking, and that would mean accessing your data through the World Wide Web or URL or your normal internet browser. So the biggest benefit thereof would be that there's a single instance of the data, meaning like a single version of the truth, really, of that software solution. So it means that if a software provider were to update the solution or enhance the products and functionalities and features or modules, everyone globally will receive that exactly at the same time, just by clicking a button. Another benefit would be that if they were to have an IT person or IT division in-house that is used to running or updating their servers, that would completely fall away. So that's something the native cloud, like in the instance of one of our solutions, it means that Sage will take that responsibility and run with it.
Fantastic. I'd like to highlight something that you've just said there. If everyone uses the same instance of the system, as you mentioned, doesn't that mean that the data could be compromised in some sense? Because everyone has access to each other's information. We know that data privacy and protection has become one of the most important things for consumers and businesses alike.
Yeah, we get that all the time. It is quite scary, I think, to think about it that way. But that said, in most instances, the data is encrypted. And also, it comes with what we call role-based security. And also, it comes with very stringent access control built into the core of these solutions. So just to go back to the internet banking analogy again, I don't think you need to worry. I think it's like, I don't think we worry all day long who's going to access our bank details and our bank accounts. So yeah, it's pretty safe.
Yeah, not at all. A very good analogy there. Thank you very much. And we appreciate that products such as Sage Intacct come with a buy with confidence guarantee, which gives users peace of mind around security and reliability of their data. Now, talking further on cloud functionality, if accountants choose to use a cloud solution, would they be able to integrate some of their existing systems to their cloud solution?
That's a question we get every day, Lysanda. So the answer in short is yes. It all depends what solution they use and what solutions they would like to integrate. So I would say certain solutions have more integration capabilities than others. If we look at Sage Intacct, for example, the software was developed over 20 years ago in the US, and it was developed with what we call APIs first, meaning an API is the integration capabilities of a solution. It allows for data to flow in and out. So that's also the security around is also very extensive. So no need to worry about that. But that allows the systems to speak to each other. And if I can use an example, I think Salesforce and Intacct, they've got a seamless integration, and it works really well.
Yes, we've had experience as Salesforce and Sage partners with using that particular integration tool. So I understand what you mean about both systems being able to talk to each other and being able to decide how the systems will do that. So well done for also preempting my point or thought on security and for putting that to bed as well in that comment. Now let's talk about some more numbers. last year, in the midst of the chaos, Sage Intacct launched the CFO 3.0 concept in conjunction with the launch of Sage Intacct in South Africa. So does that mean the roles of CFO 1.0 and 2.0 are still relevant at all? How much room for innovation is there within the role of CFO 3.0 now?
So, Lucinda, we launched the CFO 3.0, as you said, the survey last year, in conjunction with the launch of Sage Intacct in August. And I'm going to talk more to CFO 3.0 because that's the latest information. And to your question about 1.0 and 2.0, let's just keep that in the history, because 3.0, what were the findings that we saw from a Sage side? And I think first of all, the research revealed that 87% of CFOs play a role in the digital transformation of a company. So we spoke about it earlier, and Erika mentioned skill, and when we move to the cloud, what do we need to do and look out for? And that's part of the strategy that we've seen the CFO starts putting down, is the digital transformation journey. Now, with the pandemic that struck us last year, and specifically from March, what did we see? We saw on the market exactly companies that made the decision before the pandemic to start a digital journey was actually ahead of the curve. Why? Because they could easily adjust the organization to say, oh, we've got a work from home policy, or we need to be able to access the insights and data immediately to make business decisions. Companies that didn't start the digital journey, I want to say, struggled a little bit. But the good news is it's never too late to start that journey. And what we've also seen is back to cloud solutions is a massive uptake, whether within the Sage product lines, to support those strategies to customers. And again, when I want to highlight to the audience that don't think it's too late. And digital transformation is something that a lot of people speak to. It's like the buzzword of cloud and cloud native. So what's the simplistic way we can speak about digital transformation? It's if you have a process in your business that's, let's say, a manual process. So there's a lot of human interaction in that process. And I want to digitize that. What does that mean? It then means I want to automate some of that process, but the human performing the process will still be helping to execute. Because when we talk digital transformation, it all of a sudden sounds like the person doing, I want to say, the lot of manual processes today is not relevant. And that's the biggest mistake an organization can make. When you decide to take on a digital strategy, make sure your stakeholders internally you have buy-in, because you don't want to end up losing critical skill at the end of the day in your organization. And I think further to what the research showed us is 64% of South African CFOs spending more time analyzing data than they do gathering and processing it. And again, it shows us that the role of the CFO or finance leader or finance manager is changing. To what is it changing? They want to be involved, to have technology within their roles to make faster, more accurate decisions. Like what? Cash flow management, maybe within controlling stock. It really depends on which business and industry you are in. And there's a lot of, and please, if anyone of the audience would like to see the research we've done on CFO 3.0, they're welcome to connect with you or with myself or Erika, and we can share that with the audience, because it's always so difficult to summarize research in a few minutes. And I've really just highlighted one or two points, but part of the research, I think, to end off with on that is very importantly, CFO 3.0 showed us that the role of the finance leader is changing. They want to play a more strategic role within the organization. It's not anymore of just number crunching or running a process. It's more to become to a strategy, helping the company achieve their goals faster by adopting technology.
Thank you so much for making that clear. And I must say, when I had a chance to read or look through some of that information that came from the research, it really did fascinate me how you can clearly see how there's been a move from the CFO dealing with what happened in the past and trying to sort of preempt what happens next, but they've only got old information, and then sort of analyzing what they had, and finally, as you say, being able to make predictive decisions and be more future facing than retroactive in terms of what they're able to do.
And also, just one thing to add there, sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
But again, that's why Sage Intacct, we launched it into the market. It's really a financial management system that will give you insight real time into your data, processes in your business. And it also gives you the insight to forward look or to look into the future, do predictions, automate processes to make it more streamlined. And again, to bring it back to how you want to digitize your business. Step 1, decide on what you want to do. Step 2, engage with vendors and good service providers. Step 3, take your employees or colleagues that's going to be part of this project on a journey to show to them you're learning them a new skill, and you're not there to necessarily just say we're on a cost-saving, cutting off heads exercise. It's very important. In step 4, use trusted partners to future-proof your business with the right technology.
I really appreciate the fact that you keep highlighting the fact that this does not mean that humans are going to be at the mercy of robots type of thing. And that really we still need the humans to be able to innovate and maybe spend less time on the manual tasks that actually don't require much innovation, and spend more time on, as you say, strategizing and working with how the future can be improved. Thank you for highlighting that. So it's really exciting that artificial intelligence and process automation concepts that seem to belong either in movies or in industries such as robotics and engineering are actually relevant in accounting, which touches every business. So the word sage, as we know, is associated with wisdom. And therefore, to end off, I'd really like to tap into your wisdom and experience to ask, what skills should people be learning now to equip them to face the sort of challenges that we see in our current economic and social climate?
From my side, I would say it's to get used to the cloud. We've got so many people that I engage with on a daily basis that are still scared to use the cloud. I mean, start at home. Make it personal. Start dropping your photos in the cloud. What we talked about being predictive. When you watch Netflix, it tells you, based on this that you've watched, you should watch this. That's machine learning. That's AI. We should embrace it, go with it, and use it in your personal but also your professional life.
Yeah, to add to what Erika said, I think very, very important. Learning is always on. I always say, unfortunately, to use the example, but the day you pass away or die is the day you're going to stop learning. In South Africa, as an individual, whether you in primary school, whether you a senior exec at a firm, you never stop learning because business change, school programs change, education change, and make it personal. I mean, the example Erika used of start at home, I firmly believe in that, and I support that. If you're secure in using an app, let's take a banking app. We talked about banking earlier on. If you're comfortable using that app, you trust it, And the same with learning. You need to challenge yourself to make sure at the end of the day you trust your learnings. And very importantly at Sage, not just for us, but for our business partners, that's fundamentally one of the most important aspects, is to keep educating our customers. We touched on it earlier on to say we've got millions of customers worldwide. We're very fortunate for that. But why? We keep on learning. And if you want to know more about learning platforms, where you can get more information on Sage, please go to our websites. But as a trusted business partner of ours, Tetrad, please go onto the Tetrad website as well to go and see what is the learnings you can see from an Intacct side, any other of our products that we offer into the market. And we also, we've got programs with universities. 25 of the South African tertiary institutions use our HR and accounting platforms, and that includes a various range of our products. And again, when I make a choice to start learning and the direction of where I want to end up professionally, what better place to learn than at a university or tertiary education institution to say, what is the technologies I need? I spoke to a customer and they employed some interns, and it was such a successful program. Why? Because those interns had already skill, not skill just with technology, but skill of how to run and add value to a business. And for anyone that's in their education process, remember that. Go out, learn as much as you can, market yourself, build that skill base, and it's all our obligation. It's all of our obligation to make sure we help to, I want to say, energize the workforce of South Africa, stimulate it to create more jobs. Maybe one idea of it is internships. So maybe something back to Tetrad.
Absolutely, and Tetrad definitely does offer internships and then further upskilling with programs such as the Sage programs that are available. So thank you so much for mentioning that. And I love the fact, Erika, as well, that you spoke about the fact that it starts at home and that there are ways that we can get more comfortable with the idea of these technologies and of the cloud, because that is where the future lies. So in keeping with our theme, the future does lie beyond the numbers. And Erika and Gerhard, it has been truly insightful. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.